How have you been?
I've been fine, thank you. How about you? It's been a
We've been great. Just so grateful to finally be here. Um,
oh, it's been such a journey.
it has, and I mean, there was a really hairy part at one stage. So we had to go through, I think it was 4 countries to get here.
4.
And so, yeah, so we actually drove from Durban to Johannesburg, which is a 6-hour journey with 3 little kids. So that itself is, as parents, you've just got to like hold your hair, bite your teeth, and just get through it. And then we reached Johannesburg and then flew to Tanzania. And Tanzania was an experience. There was like a point in Tanzania where I thought we're just not going to come. So I'd been traveling with a colleague who's a psychiatrist. We had the same travel agent. We're both employed by DHBs here. We had the same documentation. And the policeman at immigration let them go through and then said, sorry, you guys can't go through. And I was like, what's the issue? And he's like, I will not talk to you. And then I was like, okay. And for 6 hours, he held us without access to food or water or a bathroom. Yeah, I know. I mean, I was on the phone with my travel agent who's in New Zealand, and she was horrified. And she's like, so wait, you're separated from Dr. Theona? I'm like, yes, he's let her go through to the lounge, and he says we cannot go through. And that, I think, was the most terrifying 6 hours of this journey. Junaid and I were like just praying, and the kids were like exhausted, they were hungry, they were tired. And when the shift changed, the next immigration police officer came on board, had a look at our documents and said, this is perfect, go through. I was like, oh my God. But we did not get access to food or drink or a bathroom in that time period. And so we had to run because we were late for our flight, having spent 6 hours in a holding area. So there was a point where literally I thought we're not going to be here. So the fact that we're here in New Zealand, we are so incredibly grateful. I mean, MIQ has been blissful just because we're here in New Zealand.
So in Tanzania, what was the purpose? Was it to look for a bribe, or was it some sort of discrimination?
We were thinking just that. I mean, if you know Africa, we were waiting. We were just waiting, and we never offered, and we were never going to offer. And we said we'd sit it out. And literally the shift changed. And there comes the next officer who's got a smile on his face. He's like, why have you guys been held here for so long? He's like, I am so sorry. Welcome to Tanzania. Go through. And I was like, was this a bad dream? I mean, I started crying, the relief at that point. I mean, I've cried a few ways. I think when our plane touched down New Zealand, I was the woman that was chunking in her seat, like, thank you, God, we're finally here. Because I mean, you know, the first time we attempted coming, we checked in, and this was on the 27th of November. We were checking into our Emirates flight, and the flight ban kicked in. So they pulled us off that flight. So it's been a journey and a definite adventure.
You pulled off the flight in 27th of November. You're forced to wait until the more recent flight that left weeks ago, or a week ago,
On
or
the 5th of January.
Okay.
On the 5th of January,
5th of
yes.
January.
So literally about a couple of days ago.
You went through 4 countries, South Africa, Tanzania, and then what was the next one?
Qatar, Australia, and then New Zealand.
Qatar, Australia, New Zealand. Well, here you are. How is your experience in New Zealand so far? And have it seems your spirits have lifted.
Yes, absolutely. So we've been adopted by the South African community here. And that includes South Africans of all kind of religions, race, like the Afrikaner community has been fantastic. They don't know us from a bar of soap, have organized a trailer, taking our stuff to our new rental, have stepped in to sort out the bond for us because we have no access to our bank account till it's activated. These people have never met us before. And then part of that broad South African community, the subset, which is the Muslim community, have also just dropped off food, prayer mats, Qurans, put airtime into our phones, sponsored meals. It's just been amazing. I mean, I've heard of Kiwi hospitality, but wow, it's exceeded my expectations.
That is a great story, Suhaila. I'm so happy for you that you've been able to plug into compassionate, empathetic, and caring people with resources that are there.
Oh, they've been a godsend. There's another twist to the tale. This adventure has not been. So we arrived and went to Stamford Plaza, and we tested, 3 of us in our bubble of 5 tested positive for COVID. Okay, so it changes all over again. But we had COVID in December in South Africa. So when we provided them with all that information, they said it's most likely a historical positive and not an active case. So we were moved from Stamford Plaza. They couldn't send us to Jet Park, where all the active COVID cases are. So they sent us to the Holiday Inn, where it's special cases. So we will have an antibody test in the next day or two, because we've obviously had COVID already, and then we should be able to exit in our normal exit date. But it's just been, like I said, it's been such an adventure. I mean, we have tales to speak about how we immigrated.
Yes, so many tales. They keep going. But this last one is quite interesting. New Zealand has organized 3 categories, one for no issues, one for issues current, and one for verification that issues are finished with COVID.
Yes.
Okay, interesting.
Yes. So we're in that latter category where they call us historical positives. So when we left South Africa, our doctor did say that when you travel, your immune system gets suppressed.
Sure.
Because obviously no access to fresh air and different time zones, lack of sleep. And then when your immune system is suppressed, obviously your body, the antibodies multiplicate, they multiply. And so what they pick up then in that PCR is the antibodies and not the active infection.
Okay.
So it was very interesting to learn that bit of science as well.
So this journey's been quite interesting because from the moment you and I first met, the job offer and the visa was fairly quick. Lucky for us, and lucky for
5
you.
months since you and I started, and we've hit
Yeah.
New Zealand shores. Yes.
So it must have been a few weeks that you had the job offer, and then a few months after that you had, well, that you were finally able to come.
Yes. And so much happened in between. In that 5-month span, I mean, we got to the airport, came back, went through 5 countries, had COVID in between.
Yes. Actually, the first time you were actually at the airport when they changed the rules because of the lockdown, the Omicron.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Interesting.
And it's because we stayed in South Africa that we ended up getting it. Had we been on that flight, we would have never been, because South Africa went into its 4th wave that weekend that we were held back.
How is the mood of the family now? I can see your mood is quite positive. How is the mood of the family?
You've got ×4 in matching mood. Ecstatic kids who can't wait to get out. So they just want to explore everything Auckland has to offer. The first thing is vitamin C. They want to head to the beach. The beaches here look stunning, so the kids can't wait to take a dip. Junaid's eager to get started. He's got a job interview lined up for tomorrow. So he's eager to get started with getting a job. And I just think looking forward to starting the next chapter of our lives, getting out there, rolling with it, and experiencing everything New Zealand has to offer.
You've got your home. When you get out, you'll go to the beach. Any other plans you have for, do you start work quite quickly, or do you not know yet?
No, DHB have been lovely. They've said I can start on the 1st of Feb, which gives this mom of 3 a good 2 weeks to set up her life, enroll her kids at school, and also get to be a tourist for a little bit, for a short while.
You're coming into a country that probably is ready for someone on your level, and you'll have more pulling, helping, assisting. You'll have a track for you for development rather than forcing your own track as you may have done in the past. Would that sound about right?
Absolutely. So there's already, I think, budgeted for us personal growth and development, academically in terms of my PhD that I'm pursuing, as well as in terms of seminars and courses, workshops and conferences. So the fact that it's just laid out there for you and you're told, grab the opportunity, carpe diem, take it. And I can't wait, In South Africa, you're going to literally fight to get this done. And here it's like, we want to skill you every step of the way.
Yeah, that sounds nice. Have your children been looking out the window? Is there anything to see out the Holiday Inn window?
So Stamford Plaza, we were the 9th floor and had views of the Sky Tower and the whole CBD. We loved it. So we, in fascination, watched as the street was vacuumed. And now we know why Auckland streets are so clean, because we were literally like, I think there were 5 and we were stuck to a window, like with their mouths hanging open, like in total amazement. And I took pictures and I sent it back home and I was like, this is why their streets are so clean. And then now in Holiday Inn, we've got a balcony with the pond view. And so here, the kids are allowed to have playtime outside. It's not just the usual walking that you do in Stamford Plaza. They can actually run, they can throw bean bags and have access to Netflix. I probably have to roll myself out of here because we've been eating so much in the 10 days.
That's really great, Suhaila. I really appreciate this feedback, and it's been wonderful to follow you along on this journey. All the best to you and your family, Suhaila.
Thank you so much, and thank you for being an instrumental and supportive part of this journey. I would not be here if it were not for you.
I enjoyed every minute, but I think you're the kind of person that would find your way there. I'm glad to be part of your journey.
Thank you again.
Yeah, thank
Super
you.
appreciated.
All right.